I'm sure it's everyone's dream to work from home and be your own boss.
And we
And
talk a
yet-
lot about entrepreneurship here.
That's what I'm saying. And yet, there are some disadvantages. I harmonized. Scott Christopher here along with Nate, Be the Hero Nate Woodbury. Scott Christopher, I have my own YouTube channel. We talk about other things, but you can find it if you happen to click there and subscribe and like and all of that. I split my time with Nate because I find him fascinating.
That's so cool.
He is a young man born in the Pensacola, Florida area. Actually, it was Idaho.
Utah.
Oh, I don't know. I'm just starting like an official interview, but what we want to talk about, and he's got some fun ideas, which really aren't very fun at all because this is sort of the negative side of working.
Yeah,
at home.
disadvantages.
Yeah. We talk a lot about the advantages of being your own boss, of being your own business owner, and all of the great things that comes with that. But specifically working from home, and when you say the disadvantages of working from home, you don't mean the disadvantages of working from a rental shed or a garage. Do you literally mean at a house, or do you just mean not going into an office?
Well, we'll see what some of my answers are. The first one could apply to any. It's being lonely. Like I used to work, this was years ago, for 6 years, I worked in a company called World Financial Group. I wouldn't have admitted it at the time, but it was an MLM. But I sold insurance and securities.
Type.
Basically helped people with their finances and investments and whatnot. But I worked in an office with great people. We did cruises together.
Oh.
Conventions were it was a huge celebration at the convention center with huge motivational leaders that I just admired in the company and whatnot. And when I started working for myself, by myself, at the time self-employed, not even yet a full business owner like we talked about in another episode, I was just so
the
felt
contrast.
alone.
Yeah.
I was like, where is everybody? Who can I made a huge sell. I can't even give anybody a high five.
Yeah.
So
or going out to lunch or taking breaks together. I worked at a place before I was on my own as well. Same kind of a thing. They had a foosball table. We had a daily appointment for all of us to get up there and play foosball or ping pong and have a lot of fun together. You're telling jokes, you're swapping things, you're sending little emails. The meetings even can be kind of fun, which sounds impossible. But same thing. The minute that I was on my own, I felt so free and it was so great. But one of those basic human needs is other human interaction. And if you've set up an 8, 10, or 12-hour day, in fact, you normally are working more when you're on your own, that's a long time to be.
And I can say that I miss it, some of that stuff, but I found replacements for it. It took several years. Well, really, I joined the National Speakers Association.
Yeah.
So I've kind of got a
So
tribe
you're
there
interacting with other people.
Anyway, and social media in a small way. Anyway, and I have a lot of clients that I interact with versus just like with my web design service. It was an automated sales process. I was sometimes on the phone, but I would just chat with them once, and then I would never interact with them again because my team handled everything.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Nowadays, and just to give kind of a flip side to that, before we move on to the other reasons that sometimes it's hard to work on your own or disadvantages of working from home, is you have places like WeWork, which are like workspaces for individuals, small companies, or slightly larger, but I mean, where you could get a membership and you could just go and you'd at least still be able to interact with people. They're working on their own projects, they're their own entrepreneurs, but it's a chance for people to get together and kind of share ideas and be creative together and be in an office environment, but by still being your own entrepreneur. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I've recently discovered some places like that. That would have been cool.
That would have been nice back then.
Back
okay.
then.
I just wanted to say for those of you now,
that would be, look into it.
This is a way, Regis, those types of places where you can kind of share workspace with other people and stuff like that. Okay, what else?
So the next disadvantage is distractions. That can come in the form of children, if it's summer vacation and you're trying to get some work done, or, spouse. It can come in the form of
honey-do lists.
It can come in the form of somebody's at the door. It can come in the form of I'm feeling tired and I can go to the other room where my bed is.
It's easy to be undisciplined when, those are some distractions. For me, my distractions are football, like mid-afternoon soccer matches that are played at night in Europe. but they're on and I love them. And so I'll go, well, I'll just turn it on while I'm working. I'll put it on one screen. And man, that gets so hard to stay focused because, like you said, and my bed's right behind me. For the longest time, I did rent an office space. But even then, I had to deal with loneliness. Even then, I had all the other kind of disadvantages. It was away from home. Plus, I had to pay rent. It was an extra cost. I felt more creative. I felt like I was getting up each day and going to work, which is a benefit. Mm-hmm. But then when I decided to come home because I missed my family and I wanted to be there more, all these distractions came back. It was like trying to find a balance, and it's not easy to do.
Mm-hmm. So and that ties into the next point I had here was that you have to be self-motivated. You know, if you're going to work from home, if you don't have self-motivation, it's just not going to work.
Yeah, it's so true.
Even if you're an employee that gets a remote working agreement or something like that, now your supervision's gone, and like you have to have that drive to be able to be as or more productive.
And that is not easy. Well, I don't know. I guess we could categorize that as a disadvantage if you don't have it. But even if you do have it, it's hard because self-discipline is a challenge. Mm-hmm. I mean, you got to have some accountability somewhere. And if it's just you, I'm sure many of you have realized if you're your own boss and you're accountable to you, all these things that we've brought up can be major distractions, time wasters, and possibly company killers.
So now I wanted to tie in kind of a disadvantage of just being self-employed. And that is that you wear all the hats. Mm-hmm. You have to take care of all the bookkeeping. You have to take care of the sales and the fulfillment. You've got, what are some boring things? You've got to take care of your website design.
You got to do all the marketing yourself. You're the salesperson. You're the, you're the creative. You're administrative. You do it all. And by the way, you're your own HR as well. So, in this day and age, at least in these United States, you have to have health insurance. It's not just a constitutional choice now. We actually have to have it or we have to pay penalties. When you're on your own, trying to find your own health plan out there that won't break your bank and put your business under is in and of itself. Mm-hmm. Why are we doing this again? Why are we listing all these horrible negative
to put things? The right perspective.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're right. So you got to be careful if you go into business for yourself.
So I thought a fun way of continuing this video is to take some questions from Quora. So this anonymous person asked, how can I work from home and get rich? So
why is it always about getting rich? But whatever, that's his or her question.
Well, the reality is if you're working at a job, you've got a ceiling of an income, right? You're trading your hours for a certain dollar amount, and you can ask for raises, but what this person is counting as rich, it's probably never going to happen. And they think of all these fairy tales of if only I were my own boss, or only I could do this, I would get rich.
Right.
And so I think it's a funny question. How can I work from home and get rich? Well, the answer is you have to create something of value and get enough people to buy it that they pay you money in exchange for it, and you'll get rich. So hopefully that answers your question.
It's kind of like Steve Martin said years ago. He said, how to be rich, or how to be a millionaire. He said, first, get $1 million. Second, and that was the joke, but basically then he went, second, invest in cardboard. It's 16 cents a ton. Think about, whatever. But it's true. It's kind of like, how do you get rich from home? Get rich by doing something that makes you rich. But actually just being at home is almost going to fight against you if you're not disciplined.
Yep. All right, we've got one more question from Quora. Why do so many people want to work from home?
So that they can get rich from home.
Because they don't like their boss.
No.
Because they don't like their job. They don't like their coworkers. Yeah. In my case,
they want freedom.
I wanted freedom. I wanted to be able to create and contribute. I remember the last job I had, the telemarketing job, there was an opportunity for a promotion to like supervise and manage, and I was excited about that because it just got me thinking. I didn't get that promotion. And the person said, that's interesting. I wouldn't have thought you were the person that wanted that promotion, because they knew that I was entrepreneurial minded and wanted to do my own thing. But I got to thinking about it. It's like, well, because I didn't feel like I was really giving my worth. I was just, calling on the phones.
Yes.
But I had ideas that I knew could benefit the company and make the company better. and I just wanted to create, and that's the biggest reason why I wanted to work from home or be my own boss.
And not everybody will feel that way. I mean, we really all are created differently with different dreams and desires, and a lot of people really do feel perfectly content just kind of staying where they are.
And maybe they just want to take a nap midday. That's why they want to work from home.
Maybe that's all it is. Be careful. Be careful taking naps. Make sure you keep them brief. Because if they're any longer than they say, those 20-minute like power naps, you'll be out for the rest of the afternoon. You get sick, you get a headache.
Siestas?
Yeah, but see, the siesta in that culture is mostly the eating of food and then just a little bit of a rest after it. But then you get back up and you go right back to work.
Gotcha.
See what I'm saying?
All right, hopefully you found this episode helpful. As always, subscribe. We'll see you tomorrow.